Hello guys, welcome to another episode of History of, and today we're going to be covering the history of everyone's favorite wall crawler, Spider-Man. And so, let's get right into it. Spider-Man first appeared in Amazing Fantasy the last issue. Now I forget which number it was, which I feel bad about, but he appeared in Amazing Fantasy the last issue. It was originally called Amazing Adult Fantasy, but now it's just called Amazing Fantasy. Spider-Man was created by Stan Lee and someone else who thinks he helped create Spider-Man, and Steve Ditko, who says Steve Ditko's the co-created Spider-Man, but all he did was really just draw, help art draw him. Which I believe all he did was just draw Spider-Man. But so I just wanted to mention him. And during that time, Stanley, when he gave him Steve Ditko the idea for Spider-Man, he said this is a horrible idea because he's a teenager with money problems and spiders, based around that. And he said no one would like that. He finally convinced him to. Sorry, I was gonna sneeze. He finally convinced him to published the Spider-Man comic, and soon he was published in the last issue of, like I said, Amazing Fantasy. It was a big hit, which soon led to Spider-Man getting his own solo title, simply called The Amazing Spider-Man, and soon in 1963. And with also Fantastic Four shining the spotlight in that first issue. Really? No, whatever. Anyways, his real name is Peter Parker, and his origin was he got bit by a radioactive spider while watching an experiment one time. The spider crawled into this radioactive ray and soon bit Peter. Peter afterwards learned he could jump incredible heights and had senses to tell him when he's in danger, could climb on walls, and is super strong. He soon also made his web shooters. I just got into the powers part, so let's get into his origin. Actually, okay, let me repeat that. Just pretend you never heard of the powers yet. We'll get that in a second. And like I said, Peter Parker got bit by a spider that was in a radioactive ray, soon bit him, and Peter learned he had incredible powers. After that, he was done to be a wrestler once. Okay, I just forgot. I have something fully prepared for that. Anyways, now I got this under control. Peter Parker, when they got bit by a radioactive spider that was inside a ray. So yeah, we get the idea. He lived with his uncle and his aunt, with his Uncle Ben and his Aunt May at the time, because his parents died, or so, because they actually are secret spies working for S.H.I.E.L.D. that we later find out in the comics. And their parents' names are Ben and Mary Parker, that you know. Anyway, so Spider-Man used to be called, looked like this originally, because he was originally a wrestler. That's what he looked like in the Amazing Fantasy. They call it the Mask of Marvel. That's what they called him. So yeah, until he took out a guy called Hogan, I think it was. Maybe Hogan something. No, I mean the Crusher. Why am I saying Hogan? Anyways, but at some point, a guy called the Cat Burglar, aka Walter Hardy, shot Uncle Ben, and Spidey went soon after him, learning that it was the same guy that passed him, because during after his wrestling match, a guy robbed the wrestling place and soon shot his Uncle Ben. And now Peter feels guilty because he didn't stop him before, because he had a chance. And now learn and soon, with great power comes great responsibility. Except, that technically was never said by Uncle Ben in the comic. It was actually said on the last panel of Amazing Fantasy, and that was never said by Uncle Ben. So yeah. As for Spider-Man himself, his superpowers are he can climb walls, and has super reflexes, and is super strong, and has spider sense which can tell where danger is. And he's also got web shooters that he made that can shoot webs out of them, which he has web cartridges in them or around his wrist that can shoot webs. And all he has to do is bend his two middle fingers right on his paw, and then he'll shoot the webs. Or unless you're Sam Raimi, he gives you organic webbing. What were you doing? Anyways, he also known making a lot of jokes from time to time. In comics, not too long ago in comics, Dr. Octopus was dying of cancer, and soon replaced used the Golden Octobot to take out his brain and switch it with Peter Parker's brain. So Otto, that's his dead body right there, got into Peter's body, and Peter went into his body, but the cancer was still in Otto's body, so Peter died. And Otto soon became the superior Spider-Man. But Peter's back in comics now, so don't worry. There's a big event involving Spider-Man coming up in November of 2014 called Spider-Verse. And you can see here every Spider-Man ever. And you can see here the cover for that issue which is going to be issue number 9 of the Amazing Spider-Man comic title in Marvel Now, but will soon lead to its own separate series. And as you can see, it has a lot of different alternate different Spider-Man masks here, like the Bombastic Bagman, and the Miles Morales, the Noir, the Kane, I believe that is, the Cos has mixed suits, the Norse, the 2099 suit, I think it's Ben Riley's suit right there, the Armored Spider-Man, there's a lot of suits in there, so you get the drift. As now for Spider-Man and his love life, he's had mainly 3 main love interests. The first one was Gwen Stacy, who was like, soon, as we all know, what happens to her in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but if you don't, suddenly we all found out who Spider-Man was. Well, in technical, no, I don't think he did. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, he did. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused here. But yes, he soon found out when soon captured Gwen Stacy and threw her off a Brooklyn bridge. Spidey saved her, but shot a web at her chest, but when it grabbed her, the friction from the web pulled her back and snapped her neck. So when he pulled her up, he blamed himself for kill and lost her. So, yes, and now almost even vowed to kill Green Goblin at that point, but that's gone now. Second love interest was Felicia Hardy, aka the Black Cat, who was a burglar, but also a thief. She soon grew feelings for Spider-Man, and so did he. At some point, he did reveal her identity to her, but then she lost interest in him after learning whose identity was. His final love interest, and his main one, and everyone's favorite one, is Mary Jane Watson. Now, of course, everyone knows Mary Jane Watson is there. She was really important in Spider-Man's life. She once got married with him, and yeah, it was crazy, but yeah, she got married with him because, well, she was at one point, but then, I think it was a devil, yeah, Spider-Man sold his soul to the devil, so yeah, that actually happens. And he released, basically half his history, so he got put into this one story arc where he had to redo everything, so yeah. So that's kind of stupid. But now there was one other love interest with him called Carly Cooper, but who was like a detective. I'm not sure much about her, but I knew she was like a sort of a detective, I believe. But I heard she was a really bad love interest for Peter. So yeah, she was also working for the Green Goblin at one point in Superior Spider-Man comics, but was under his control. So yeah. On to Spider-Man TV shows, for example, Spider-Man had a lot of TV shows back then. The first one was in 1977, with a live-action TV show simply called Spider-Man. That's the image of what the actor looked like as Spider-Man. Now, of course, it was a really bad TV show. For its time, it was good, but it was for its time, it was a good TV show. But now it's really bad. And you see here, his eyes are like mirrors almost. His costume, when I saw images of his costume I saw, his web gear was really bulky on the outside of his glove, and he wore belts, which was stupid. A couple years later, a cartoon show will be come out simply called Spider-Man also. That was good for its time, and it still is good, but yeah, it's not fantastic anymore, but it's still a good show. I can see here, the only difference, I can see he has no lines on his costume, because that's how they made him look in that show back then. He would have another alternate show back, then they would have another Spider-Man TV show, cartoon show, with this exact same Spider-Man, except he would have lines in the costume now, so yeah, it's basically almost the same thing. Another Spider-Man show came out called Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, teaming up with Iceman and Firestar, who are members of the X-Men. Well, mainly Iceman, I don't know about Firestar. It was a really fun TV show, and was excellent. Soon in 1995 came one of the most famous Spider-Man TV shows ever, Spider-Man and the animated series on Fox Kids, which lasted for 5 seasons and counted up to 65 episodes. It was a really good show. I watched the entire thing. It's fantastic. In 1999, another Spider-Man show came out called Spider-Man Unlimited, which was sort of based around, like the Spider-Man 2099 comics. So yeah. But it got it was on the Fox Kids, but we got foreshadowed by Pokemon at that time. It did come back, but soon got canceled at some point on a cliffhanger, which is what we see many times in Spider-Man shows, including the animated series. Another TV show coming out later after the Sam Raimi movie called Spider-Man: The New Animated Series. I heard it was I think it was sort of based around. I think it was based around after the Spider-Man the film, because the Sam Raimi film, because constantly in the film in that show we never see Norman Osborn, and Peter lives in an apartment now, and so Harry always blames Spider-Man for his father's death, well, he does in the comics, but still. Its story was like based around that show, and on a cliffhanger. It also ended on a cliffhanger, but it was still a good show. The most popular Spider-Man show ever got canceled on cliffhanger 2, called The Spectacular Spider-Man. It was really going to come back for a third season. Oh wait, it was actually a really good take on the Spider-Man and like villains and everything else. It's really good. Animation was great. Actors were fantastic. It was coming back for a third season, but didn't because of the Disney XD show, The Ultimate Spider-Man, which is the latest one, which people follow me based around the Miles Morales Spider-Man, but it was not. It has Drake Bell from Drake and Josh voicing Peter Spider-Man, which not that bad really, but still. It's not. He makes too many jokes and breaks the third wall. The third scene is being retitled Web Warriors, which having a number of alternate Spider-Man team in this, which might be better than the actual show itself, than the last two seasons. Now, on movie standpoints, not many good films in general. The first one came out in 2002, just simply called Spider-Man, made by Sam Raimi, which was a big hit, and then came out Spider-Man 2, which was also a big hit, and that came out in 2004, and the final one, which really sucked, called Spider-Man 3 in 2007. This one is best to not talk about. Soon, getting a reboot to the series, directed by Mark Webb, it came out The Amazing Spider-Man in 2012. Again, its monster hit sequel, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, in 2014. So yes, they were really good films. Now, he's getting The Amazing Spider-Man 3 coming out in 2016, or 2017, on however this goes, and has a number of other films still coming out. He has The Amazing Spider-Man 4 coming out, and also spin-off films like Sinister 6 and the Venom film. So yeah, it's really interesting. And now let's go down to Spider-Man's villains. First off, there's Green Goblin, and who's basically like Joker for Batman, but he's like Joker, but he's Spider-Man's Joker. He's the Green Goblin. It's like basically Spider-Man's opposites. Then there's one of the most famous villains, Venom, who in comics right now is a good guy called Agent Venom, controlled by Flash Thompson. And I will make a history episode of him in due time to explain that. Anyways, there's also Dr. Octopus, one of the most famous Spider-Man foes, who was Spider-Man at once. There's also my favorite villain, Electro, and other villains like a Rhino, Mysterio, Lizard, Shocker, Sandman, Carnage, Scorpion, Kraven the Hunter, Vulture, Hobgoblin, and that's just a few of his villains, naming off a few. He has like one of the best rogues galleries in comics next to Batman. And anyways, now to what to watch, and what to read, watch, and play. Now, there's a lot of comic books here that I'm going to be mentioning, so get a pen and pencil and start writing it down. So, read the Marvel Now Amazing Spider-Man title. It's only on issue number 3 right now, but it's a really good series. Read it. Also read the Superior Spider-Man title. It only lasted about 31 issues, but issue number 42 and 33 are going to be coming out soon. Other things you can read are Spider-Man Ends of the Earth, Big Time Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 583, which has Barack Obama in it. These Spider Island, the big event Spider Island, Spider Island, which was a big event in the comics. Amazing Spider-Man issue number 700, Amazing Spider-Man issue number 700.1 for .5, which was a prequel series before the actual Marvel Now series. There's also the Clone Saga story arc, the Death of Gwen Stacy, which takes place in issues number 121 and 122. The Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1, which has the first appearance of the Sinister Six. The Amazing Spider-Man Giant Size Annual, which is when him and Mary Jane get married. And there's also the Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man, and Superman and Spider-Man, which were the first two ever crossover comics for DC and Marvel, which are really good, and they came out in the 70s. Read them both; they're amazing. And also Marvel's Superheroes Secret Wars issue number 1 through issue 12. There's also Peter Parker's Ultimate Spider-Man run and Miles Morales' Ultimate Spider-Man run. Also, wait, did I skip anything? Nope. There's also read the original Spider-Man 2099 comics and the new Marvel Now Spider-Man 2099 comics. And these Kane's Scarlet Spider comics, and of course, when it comes out, Spider-Verse. Read both the issue and the Amazing Spider-Man title, and both of these separate series. Now, other things you need to watch are the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, the movies. The first two Sam Raimi films, they're not that bad. Spider-Man the Animated Series, Spider-Man Unlimited, and Spectacular Spider-Man. Also check out Marvel Ultimate Spider-Man Web Warriors, which looks better than the first two seasons of Ultimate Spider-Man. The last two episodes of Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which had featured Spider-Man in them, and they're really good episodes. Also check out Spider-Man Shattered Dimension, which is a great game with 4 alternate Spider-Man, including the 616 Spider-Man, in this case, the one we all know, the Noir Spider-Man, the Black Suit Spider-Man, or in this case, the Ultimate Spider-Man, and the 2099 Spider-Man. And, oh yeah, also watch... No, he's not in that show, I forgot. Also watch the Amazing... Also play the Amazing Spider-Man game, and the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game, and Lego Marvel Superheroes. Now, what to avoid? When it comes to Spider-Man, there are a lot of bad stuff you need to avoid. Avoid the 1977 live-action show. It's really not good. Also avoid Marvel Ultimate Spider-Man. The first 2 seasons are bad. The third season, it's not actually that bad. Also check out. Also avoid Spider-Man 3. And just actually avoid. I'm not even telling you. I'm like demanding you to avoid this. For all we know, it comes from a universe where every superhero film is terrible. Which would explain where X-Men and Free, Batman, Robin, and what else? Oh yeah, Superman 4 came from. Oh yeah, I went there. And also avoid the video game Spider-Man Edge of Time. It's not good. There are also some bad comics you need to avoid, like Spider-Man Identity Crisis, which has an identity crisis with like 4 other identities he turned into, like the Hornet, Ricochet, Prodigy, and Dusk. It's bad. Also avoid Spider-Man Reign, which is a comic storyline based in the future and it's really stupid, like how Mary Jane dies in it because of like having too much contact with Spider-Man because of the chemicals in Spider-Man's body. She had too much. Since she kissed him so many times, he had chemicals in his body which gave her cancer and killed her. How does that make sense? Also avoid the Spider-Man The Brand New Day. It was a series. I think it happened in issue number 620 something. But yeah, I hear it's really bad. That story arc I heard would like basically had Spider-Man starting from the beginning, like right all over, which had something to do with like the devil like erasing half his history. So yeah, avoid that comic. I have not read it, but I heard it's bad. But anyways, so that's it for this history of episodes today, guys. I hope you liked it, and I hope you guys got all the knowledge you need on Spider-Man. So, tell me, what am I saying? Hey, what am I saying now? So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for more history episodes coming way soon. I'll catch you guys later.